anybody understand this job market? How do people break through and stand out?
Tell me a story. I would have never considered him for the job if I had just seen what was on paper.
Yes, you can be your true self. We have visibility and access and more transparency than ever.
How important are all the little details?
Hit it up front. Give me 3 lightning facts.
I'll bring the energy, man. I'll bring it.
Not qualified for that. Not qualified for that. Overqualified for that. Man, I'll never get a job.
Fear not, Rupak. Recruiter Man is here.
Wow! Can you, shoot lasers out of your eyes and fly faster than a speeding bullet?
I can do better than that. I can get you a job.
Thanks, Recruiter Man!
Just doing my job.
What's wrong? Is there kryptonite nearby?
It's worse than that. It's macroeconomic headwinds.
Will Recruit Man get sucked in by the vortex of macroeconomic headwinds, or will he live to fight joblessness another day? Find out on the next episode of Recruiter Man.
Hi, this is Jill Wiltfong, Chief Marketing Officer for Korn Ferry, and this is Briefings, our deep dive into leadership. Does anybody understand this job market? On the one hand, the U.S. unemployment rate has been hovering near historic lows, but an economic gloom still hangs over companies and workers across the globe. Nearly half of Americans say the job market is, quote, bad. Is it due to inflation, high interest rates, geopolitical unrest? It's hard to say for sure, but who ends up in the middle of all of this? You. Whether you're unemployed, looking for a job, or have a job but want to move elsewhere, experts say it's never been more baffling to figure out how to get a new gig. But never fear, we're here on the job hunt in the best and worst of times. Here today to speak with me on this pressing topic is Dipali Vyas, a Korn Ferry Senior Client Partner and Global Head of FinTech, Payments, and Crypto Practice. Hi, Dipali. Thanks for joining me.
Hello. Thank you, Jill.
Somebody said to me the other day, you've gotten something like 200 email requests just sitting in your inbox as we speak. So with all of that traffic, how do people break through and stand out to a recruiter? How do they even get noticed?
So I'll answer the question by saying, help me help you. So for the job seekers out there, do not land in my inbox asking me to grab coffee. I have no idea who you are or what you want. So I really want people to make it easy for me and other recruiters to want to call you. Give us a reason. I have a very cool story in that because this barrage of messages that I receive on LinkedIn, I actually had someone send me a video intro. And that video intro, I'm sure they used some AI tools and they inserted my name every chance they got in that video intro. And I listened to it for 3 minutes and I was like, wow, this is different. I'm going to call them back.
Dipali, let's dig into this, get behind the scenes a little bit on this one. Have there ever been people that you saw on paper that kind of fell flat and then for whatever reason they made it through, got into the interview and they landed the job, much to your surprise?
There are many, many people that have come to impress me because they were able to articulate an idea, tell me a story. I had a candidate that started telling me that he was managing the family's deli and he actually took some time off from his regular, data job and started managing the deli because he had to. And the things he learned on how to operate a business and telling me that story with almost a tear in his eye totally changed my mind about him. I would have never considered him for the job if I had just seen what was on paper.
Every job search is different. So it's hard to say that one thing is 100% better than another. But I think some of the most common ways that people get jobs are, one, obviously through job boards and online applications. And I think that's got a lot of kind of negativity lately because people can find that really frustrating. you can apply for, as you said, Andrew, like 300 jobs and not get anything back. But I think it's still probably the number one way that people do actually find jobs.
That's job search strategist Hannah Mason speaking. Dipali, let's talk about job boards for a minute. What happens when you see that 300 people have applied, like Hannah's talking about? How do you stand out to hiring managers at that stage?
On average, hiring managers spend 6 seconds on a resume.
Wow.
So
No.
if your resume does not match the job description, it'll automatically be passed up. So that, having your resume match that job description is table stakes. And then aside from the standard expectations of attention to detail, no errors on the resume, the more information an applicant can provide, the better. So for example, if you are applying for a technical role or even a marketing role, putting links to your GitHub or your portfolio, showing examples of what you've done further than the rest of the 300 applications is really what's going to take you far.
How important are all the little details of like who you reported to and all the dirty little details? Is it about that or is it about outcomes? Is it some blending of the two?
Tell me what your responsibilities were and what your expertise was in, and give me 3 lightning facts. Give me 3 outcomes or results that were your doing and having that reflected on the resume. Because then I can understand when I pick it up, I have to be able to understand exactly what you did and how you impacted the organization.
Let me ask you one other thing, because this has come up from people I know that are in this market right now who are getting the feedback that they're overqualified. What does that really mean? You're overqualified. This job's beneath you, but you're desperate for work. What do you do with that?
Some of the advice that I give is acknowledging it up front. Hit it up front. I know that I have more years of experience than what this role calls for, but here's what I bring to the table and here's what you're going to get with a candidate like myself and my skills. And I am not going to be shy to take a pay cut because I really want to work for this company. The culture fits for me. There are so many ways that you can express your interest in how you fit for the firm, even though you may be, quote, overqualified.
Dipali, thank you so much for joining me today and sharing your job hunt wisdom.
Thank you, Jill. My pleasure.
Well, we've covered quite a bit, why the market is so tough, how to navigate job boards, and what firms are looking for. But really, it's just the tip of the iceberg. So let's find out how to nail the interview and salary discussion after the break.
Hi, and welcome to The Break. I'm Rupak Bhattacharya, and here's a quick look at what else is happening in business from Korn Ferry's This Week in Leadership.
29% of people quit their jobs within a month after their first promotion.
Promotion may well increase the risk that an employee will quit, according to one study. Experts say that especially if a promotion happens with no accompanying increase in pay, it could be seen as borderline negative.
How would you deal with conflict with a coworker?
Do you need conflict management training? A survey of 600 US business leaders shows that nearly 6 out of 10 say that their weakest skills are in conflict management and that it's costly to companies.
One study found students had 30% better knowledge retention 2 weeks after learning with VR as opposed to traditional education methods.
UK corporations appear to be among the world's leaders in converting corporate training from the traditional on-site experience to virtual reality. Already slightly more than 1 in 4 British firms are reportedly using virtual reality or augmented reality. For more insights on business and leadership, head to kornferry.com/insights. Now back to Jill and our episode on the job hunt, the best and worst of times.
So think about this. Say that you're a manager and you ask somebody, where do you see yourself 5 years from now? Now, if the person were honest, they would say, 5 years? I don't even know where I'm going to be 6 months from now. I'm applying for a job. This is a transition. But they don't say that. They say, well, I see myself being in this company and growing and being taking on added responsibility. What are your biggest weaknesses? Well, sometimes I come to work late, and sometimes I have a tendency to get into arguments and sometimes fights with my coworkers. We never say that. We always give, I work too hard. Sometimes I'm too hard on myself. And it's a show. And what they showed is, the psychology showed that some of us are just better actors than others, but that doesn't make us for being better candidates for a given job.
We're talking about how to get a job in today's market, and we're now joined by Jen Zamora. She's the head of our coaching team at Korn Ferry Advance, our career advice platform. Hi, Jen.
Hello.
Jen, we just heard from psychologist Ram Brafman saying that once you reach the interview stage, you have to be a good actor. Is that true, or can you be your true self?
Well, I'm a big fan of being authentic. Our CEO has written a lot of books on career and leadership. And one of the acronyms in one of the books really resonates with me. And I use it a lot with job seekers specifically in this part of the job search, because I think it helps get to, yes, you can be your true self. And you can do that by channeling your ACT. So the goal is to be authentic, to make a connection with the human being that you are meeting, whether it's the recruiter or the hiring manager or a panel of peers or other leaders, and give them a taste of what you'd be like to work with.
Let's talk about how coaching can help here, because you do a lot of this. The number of coach practitioners reportedly increased by 54% between 2019 and 2022. We know that our Korn Ferry Advanced coaches are top-notch because we strategically hire the very best, but with so much choice out there, how do you go about identifying the right coach to help you ace the interview, the right coach for you?
Yeah, I think it comes down to understanding your needs, preferences, and objectives. Are you just trying to land a job, similar role, same function, same industry? Do you need to make a change? Are you clear on what that change is and what steps you need to take to help you accelerate? Are you trying to advance in your field, or are you feeling stuck and you need somebody to help you think about, like, what is that future step? What is the job that you're looking for? So that'll help you narrow your search and set your expectations. I also do a lot of mock interviews as a coach. So if you are looking for a coach who's going to help you in the interview process, you might want to know, is your coach willing and able to do a mock interview with you and give you feedback?
61%. 61% of people fail at negotiating a higher salary after receiving a job offer. And you want to guess why? It's not because of the economy, it's not because the employer is being unreasonable, and it's not because they have no other offers to leverage. Most of those people lost right then and there when they decided to not even try to negotiate for a higher salary.
That's career advisor Jeff Sue talking about the part everyone likes to get to, the job offer and salary discussion. Jen, let's say you're not being presented the right figure in pay, but you're concerned about asking for too much. How do you get to that Goldilocks amount of compensation that's just right? How do you figure that out?
Understanding your strengths, understanding your skill set, and, I call it your KSAEs. Right? Your knowledge, skills, abilities, and experiences as they relate to the target job. You need to know what the market value is for that in relation to the target job. And now, we have visibility and access and more transparency than ever. Oftentimes you're seeing ranges in job descriptions, which can give you a quick read on what market is for that particular role in that company, which we haven't had previously.
Perfect. Love it. Well, I feel like this was all really helpful, Jen. Thank you so much for coming on. For more career advice, you can head to kfadvance.com and find Jen and people like her there willing and able to help. Jen, thank you.
Thank you, Jill.
The executive producer of Briefings is Jonathan Dahl. Today's episode was produced by Rupak Bhattacharya, Nadira Putri, and Teresa Allen, and it was edited by Jaron Henry McRae. It contains reporting by Russell Perlman, Ariane Cohen, and Peter Loria. Our video segment contains original artwork by Fraser Milton, Haley Kennel, Jonathan Pink, and Sasha Kotschik. Don't forget to read our magazine, available at newsstands and at kornferry.com/briefings. That's it for Korn Ferry Briefings. I'm Jill Wiltfong. See you next time.
No! And we're cutting.